Thanks. So I'm actually pinch hitting for Brian Knowles, who's the Miradi project engineer, whose son is off getting married this week. So I'm going to pinch hit for him. We started this conversation at the start of the hour about talking about getting data into Miradi and making sense of it. One of the other big things that we're working on in the Miradi world is getting data out of Miradi and Miradi Share, and figuring out how to make it available for people, how we can handle reports better. So as Dan is going to go click through the slides for me here. What we really wanted to, so we're in the process of now designing the requirements for our first forays into more sophisticated reporting. And what I'm going to show you is some of the questions and things that we're thinking about. And we would love, maybe not on this call, but going forward, to get feedback from anyone interested to get your help. So we're interested in answering key management questions. Any report has to answer a management question. And you can see that there's a bunch of questions related to how you expect to deliver results. So what are your goals, et cetera. There's questions about each of your investments and how you're going to work planning and how you're going to implement your work. There are questions about, are you on track? Are you doing what you said you're going to do? Are you achieving the results and impacts you're hoping to achieve? And then there's a series of questions about what's happening overall for adaptive management. And so we think that Miradi really will have the data to answer these, but we need to figure out what are those reporting tools that would enable people to display and interact with that information. So what you see here is a broadsheet, or a kind of a picture of what conceptually this new reporting view in Miradi Share might look like. And you can see, for example, here that you have maybe a selector that says which project I want to work on. And then on the right side, you might get more detailed information. And let me zoom in and show you some of the details here that would be on this page. So regarding the question of how many projects do you have, where are they, who are my project's key partners and stakeholders, and how do they map across our targets and threats, you can see that we would answer the question of how many projects do you have. You could look at that in a report view, either on a map, using some of the tools that Dan just showed you, or you could also click and see a project list. So you can see the project, how many projects do you have, ways of answering that question across your program. Next, please, Dan. And then where are they located? That's where the map becomes really helpful to sort of show that where question. Next. Within that, we might want to pick one of those projects, and we want to zoom and look in and how are we doing in terms of targets, or how are we doing in threats. So this might be a home page for this particular project, and you could zoom in and see information about its targets, see the information about their viability, see information about their threats, see information about some of the results chains, the conceptual models or key diagrams, and see information about some of the stakeholders. So this is information that many of you have produced in the past in sort of different kinds of reports that's taking key Miradi elements. What we're trying to do is put them in a dashboard that people could look at and interact and make sense with. And we're going to need your advice as to what are those dashboard elements that would be most useful for people to help think about what these things are. So that's one example of what this overall thing would look like. We are doing similar types of broadsheet layouts, kind of thinking about these other questions. Why you're there, what value to add, the work planning, how you report on performance and things like that. So we're going through this process, and if any of you are interested in getting in more detail, please get in touch with us, because what we would like to do is figure out how to make these reporting tools really answer the questions that you need, so that we don't have to go completely out of the system in order to generate reports. That said, the other thing we are going to be doing is trying to interface with some key business analytic tools, and also figuring out how to bring information maybe from your organization's financial system or your organization's grant tracking system, and trying to bring those pieces of information together within the confines, so that we're not just looking at the Miradi world, but we're taking the world of Miradi projects and programs and interfacing it with the broader ecosystem that each of our organizations and agencies are dealing with. So I know we're coming towards the end of the hour here, and I want to leave time for questions, but really what we're trying to do is think about the reporting. And for those of you who have Miradi licenses, this is where your fees go. The money we collect, it's to be able to build these next kind of features. And so this is where it becomes really important to make sure our users are happy and getting things that work for them. Dan, anything I missed that you would want to add?
No, that's a good overview. You know, I think as you've heard Nick say, we've really focused for many years now on ways of getting information into Miradi, and we're really shifting our focus now on how do we get information out that really informs decision makers with the right kind of information and the right presentation to really adaptively